It was the first question I answered in depth on Quora, and it got a lot of debate, comments. Some people were for me, some people hated me. I will let you guys decide.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
The first question was, how was your first day in prison? What crime did you commit, and how long did you stay? It's three questions in one, really. It was the first question I answered in depth on Quora, and it got a lot of debate, comments. Some people were for me, some people hated me. I will let you guys decide. My first day in prison, I'm not gonna lie, I was scared. I went to the Walls, the worst prison in Missouri at that time. I'm glad that place is shut down. It was just a bad place. But there was this smell of, which I didn't know at first, but it was the smell of state soap. It was in the clothes, there's laundry and everything, there's state soap smell. And so you kind of got used to that, so that you didn't even really notice it. New people always noticed it. And the first day they put me in R&O and 2 house, and I think I told the story where first time I went to chow hall, I sat on the wrong side. The chow hall was divided in black on one side, whites on the other. And this guy was kind enough to tell me that my kind sat on the other side. So I went over there, and these guys gave me a seat that used to be their partners, but he went to the hole. And they told me, don't let nobody take your seat. Ask them kindly to leave, and if they don't, you fight. Because not only would, if I don't fight, and I'd be disrespected by the guy, but the other people at the table were on. And I found out that was kind of a thing then. Somebody went to the hole, somebody else, if the other people at the table allowed it, could sit at that table, and their partner, he could be a long-term partner. They've known him for years. He loses his seat. It was just kind of strange to me. The crime I committed was I killed my brother's abuser. My brother was 14. The guy I killed was 22. He was a distant cousin. And I didn't want to do that. But nobody would believe me. So I felt I had no other option. My brother was even mad that I ain't told anybody. So I felt I had no option but to kill this guy so he'd stop abusing my brother. And so that's what I did. And it's probably one of the hardest things I ever did, if not the hardest thing. And especially it was a distant cousin. And it was just bad, for me it was. But people often ask, do I regret doing it? I regret that it came to that. I regret that someone had to die. I regret that no one believed me. But I do not, and I will never regret for protecting my brother, my little brother, who I did everything with, just about. And they said, how long did you stay? Well, I was in prison 29 years. It wasn't the same prison. I was only 5 years at the Walls, MSP, but it seemed like an eternity. But after that, I was in less violent prisons. I mean, there was still violence, but it was less violent. But it was still prison, you know. Prison is prison. It sucks. You don't want to go there for any reason. But you know, I felt I had to do what I did. But I wasn't really expecting to get that much time. I thought I would get arrested, you know. I mean, after all, I did kill somebody. But I never thought I would do 29 years in prison. And when I walked out, it was surreal. It was just a weird feeling when I walked out after 29 years. And there for a while I was waiting for my ride. I was standing outside the prison, and it almost felt like I should be back on the, like I was in the wrong place, like I was going to get rolled up and put in the hole for being out of bounds. So that's the answer to that question, and I hope I have answered it enough that, you know, if there's anything else you want to know, please ask me. And I'm going to be open with you, honest with you. So just, if you have any questions, ask me. Hello, YouTube. First, I want to apologize for the last video. It got cut off after the first 10 minutes. And I'd answered 7 questions, and like only one of them got answered. So I apologize for that. And I hope that don't happen again, you know, or that we catch it. All right, I'm going to try to finish these questions, and hopefully no more problems. If you've been to prison, what was the first thing that struck you? A fist? I don't know. No, it would have to be a toss-up between the smell of state soap or the heat, because I got there in the summertime and it was just, there's no AC. I was on the top wall, sweat was just rolling off of me. But there was this smell of I didn't know what it was at first, but it was, you know, I noticed that the clothes they gave me had a funny smell and everything, but it was the state soap. It wasn't a bad smell, it was just, you know, like lye or something. So it would be a toss-up between the smell of state soap or the heat. It was just almost unbearable, the heat was. It says, does prison make you worse mentally? Well, if you go to prison and you're weak mentally, you're going to have a lot of problems. You got to be strong mentally. And I think it made me stronger over time. You know, over 29 years I did. I think it made it stronger mentally. But there's things about prison that I can't get out of my mind, especially from the walls. You know, Missouri State Penitentiary. So I guess in some ways it does make you worse mentally. There's things that you can't get out of your mind, you know, things you've seen. So next question would be, how common is it for rats to enter prison? Yeah, when I first got to prison, there was no rats on the yard. I think they're talking about the animal. There's not many in the newer prisons. You know, they're pretty clean, and I think I may see mice once in a while when I was in the newer prisons. But the walls of Missouri State Penitentiary had rats, you know, and I remember these old heads telling me that the rats would come up through the toilet, and I didn't believe them until it actually happened. You know, I was sitting on my bunk and heard water splashing, looked over, and there was a rat sticking up out of the water. But another thing, I know this is, it's not about rats, but the place had cockroaches everywhere. And I'm not talking about little ones that you see in your house once in a while. I'm talking about like big cockroaches. I mean, there's probably about that long, maybe even a little bit bigger. That was just, it was everywhere. Can you tell if somebody's been to prison? Yeah, most times I can. When I answer this on Quora, somebody says, well, I've been to prison. You wouldn't be able to tell I've been in prison. And that may be true. There may be some people that lose all of that prison behavior, But if you've done a lot of time, it's the way you look at your surroundings. It's the way you walk and behave. Ex-cons pretty much still tend to sit with their back to the wall in certain places, and they always aware of their surroundings. It's just a thing. I remember being in Walmart with my niece, and we're walking down this aisle. And down at the far end, coming our way was a guy and a woman, and I told her, I said, that guy, I think, is an ex-con. And she goes, how can you tell? I said, I just can. And as they passed us, the guy tells his woman, whoever was with him, the dude's been in prison. So, it's just a thing that it's hard to explain. And then there's the tattoos. Most prison tattoos, not all, but most, have a greenish color to them because of the homemade ink. And it's the type of tattoos too. You just, it's hard to explain, but How heavy is the workout scene in prison? When I answered this on Quora, I'm not quite sure what they meant by that, but I'm going to try to give the best answer I can on this. A lot of people work out in prison. It's always good to stay in shape, and also it keeps them busy. You have something to do. And people who work out, they work out religiously, usually. They're dedicated to it. If we go on lockdown for some reason, they work out in their cell. They don't stop working out. So it's the ones who do work out, they hit it hard, and they're dedicated to it. And they hit it regularly whenever they can. Somebody asked me if I did prison workout. The term prison workout is kind of funny to me, but I'll say this: I do work out, but I can't do the workouts I did in prison, and it's not because of the equipment or anything like that. It's just I'm a little older. When I got out, I stopped working out for a while, because I was working my ass off, but it didn't feel like working out at the end of the day. But it's I just couldn't do it. It's me and the people I worked out with, we went hard, and I can't keep up with that now. I'm just being honest. How long would you last in prison if you were put in GP? You don't really have no clear answer on that. I know I was in GP my whole 29 years, except for the times I was in the hole. Did 10 days here, 20 days here, 7 months here, a couple months here. So if you don't count the whole times, and I went to the hole quite a bit. Not as much as some people did, but more than others. But your life is not guaranteed in prison. So you can't. I think if I went back to prison right now, I would be all right. But you don't know that for sure. I mean, I'll be going. People would know me and this and that, but you can't say how long you would last. I can't say, well, for 100% sure, I can't say I'll go to prison and I'm going to be all right. You never know it's crazy sometimes in there, and you could get stabbed for nothing. Somebody could attack you for no reason. The best way to last in prison is to stay out of debt, stay away from the drugs, the gambling, and those boys. Them boys will get you caught up. I don't know why, some people want to mess with those boys in prison. A boy is somebody who's is gay in prison, usually tied with somebody. But you stay away from them three things, your chances of survival go way up. Why do prisoners fight against each other instead of fighting the common enemy, which is the prison? Well, there's several reasons for that. A couple, really. One, the prison wants the prison population to be not to be united. They want to be against one another. Because when they're united, it's all bad for them. It really is. Riots happen. People unite against. I was in a food strike. I guess you would call it food strike and work strike. Everybody refused to eat and go to work. They don't like that. I'm telling you right now. So, part of it is the prison, I think, causing division. But part of it is, look, you got people in there for murder, robbery, people who are just violent people, bad people, and you got them all in a little area. There's going to be fights. There's going to be violence. There's going to be stabbings. There's going to be, that can't be helped. Even if there was no violence, you put a bunch of people in a closed, they're going to get tired of seeing each other. And at the walls, in the summer times, the violence went up because of the heat. There was no AC. People got irritable. So there's many reasons for people in prison fighting against each other. And in Missouri, at least, most of the time it's not racism. We're not like the West where it's divided racially. Don't get me wrong, there's racial tensions sometimes, but it's not like it used to be. Even I told you once about sitting on the wrong side of the chow hall because the blacks sit here and the whites over here. They don't even do that in Missouri no more. You kind of stay with your own kind, but it's not. I think that's all the questions. Again, I'm sorry for these are not being on the last video, and I hope you enjoy these questions that I answered from Quora. And feel free to ask your own comment. And thank you for watching.